and Gemma
from Play-Doh and Preschool. Please let us know if you can see and hear us. We had some technical difficulties a minute ago, and I hope we fixed them. Anyway, we thought we would join you this afternoon. Yesterday on the video, we had a lot of people asking about Gemma's tractor bulletin board, so we wanted to let you know.
It works.
We fixed it.
It took me hours.
It did. Gemma ended up putting a stationary arrow. Oh, she's gonna demonstrate. A stationary arrow, and then the kids can spin the tractor spinner. She knocked a corn off. And wherever the wheel stops, then whatever the arrow's pointing to, that's the number of vegetables that they plant in the dirt. So it works. Thanks for asking. She spent a long time on it.
I took a long time, and James was like, why are you spending so much time on it? I said, because I don't like things to beat me, for one.
And will not let the spinner beat me.
And I will not let a spinner beat me. And I decided that we could use them for so many other things.
We're leaving this bulletin board up forever. People, we also yesterday shared with you about our sensory table and how we had all these great cow activities. And we were asking for some advice about filling the gloves so that they could milk the cow.
We had the stand where we could hang the gloves.
We'd show it to you, but it's outside getting washed.
It was such a disaster.
Such a mess. It was like one of those like Pinterest fail, like epic Pinterest fails.
Like the nailed it ones.
Nailed it. We should have taken a video of the kids. So we mixed some cornstarch in with the water to make it nice and thick, per your suggestions. And we mixed some white paint in there, per your suggestions.
And we thought we'll put some paper down because someone said they made art projects with it.
Beautiful idea.
Perfect. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? And we used a thumbtack because somebody suggested that maybe the holes were too big.
It may be just best. If you gave us those ideas, thank you.
I don't know what our problem was.
The kids enjoyed it.
It was a mess. I mean, like,
they were
mess.
It, and it was squirting.
It's like I can't even stand up because it's all over the side of my shirt. It's on the floor.
Yeah,
it was a mess. We couldn't even see
our paper that we put on the bottom for our art projects.
Not salvageable.
They were just soaking wet. It didn't even look like paint.
What did we do wrong? Anyway, so that's what's going on with us. Not everything is perfect.
It took us longer to clean it up than it did for them to do it.
The kids are like, why are you outside with the hose? And we're like,
we're just hosing ourselves off.
Just trying to get cleaned up from that really fun sensory experience we just had.
And they kept saying, do you think the farmer gets this messy? You're like, probably not.
Probably not. Anyway, today we thought we would share with you a suggestion to teach your students an important comprehension skill. So when we're reading aloud and doing story time with our students, that is the best opportunity that we have to teach them how to comprehend and understand what they're reading. So that when they get to elementary school and they read on their own, they can make sense of it. We have to model that here in preschool. We've done a number of other videos. We did about predicting, and we did a video about sequencing, like how we do different activities with sequencing when we read to the students. And today, hey Dana, hey Erica, today we're going to share with you how we teach our students to make connections when they're reading, when they're listening. So as a reading teacher, you know, that's what's that?
When they're listening.
When they're listening. It's May.
Yeah.
So as a reading teacher, one of the things that we teach our students who are reading is that when they read, they always need to make some type of a connection. When we teach our students, our elementary students, to say to themselves, oh, this reminds me of, and either remind them of something that's happened to them, or remind them of something that they know about in the world in general, or the one that I'm going to teach you today, or that I'm going to share with you today is, this reminds me of another book that I've read. And we call that a book-to-book connection.
She's like, I always talk too much. She won't say anything. I'm like, no, you take it away.
I'll just pick up from there.
No, go ahead. That's fine. I'm ready to show. She does. It's okay because I don't really like talking that much on it.
So we talk about making.
Carry on.
I don't know why. You're really good at it.
I don't know.
When we teach students to say, oh, that reminds me of another book, that's a book-to-book connection. And those are really important all the way through adulthood as we're growing these lifelong readers, that they're able to read something and say, aha, this character. Yeah, go for it.
Reminds me of a book I read a couple of days ago when this happened in this story, happened in another story I read.
or this character is similar to another character I know, or this same problem happened in another book. And we can model that here in preschool by choosing books that have a similar theme. And so what we've done is pulled 3 sets of books. Hey, Kat!
And Karen.
Hi, you guys. It's nice to see you. We've pulled 3 sets of books to sort of model for you, or to show you how we introduce this idea of making book-to-book connections with our preschoolers. They're all farm books, because
We're doing the farm.
that's what we've got pulled up
I don't know
this
if
month.
you knew that about our situation
Yeah.
at the moment. We're doing farm. Hence the paint up the walls and on our
And the
house.
milk splatters all up and down my shirt where I
put
can't
one-
show you.
I put one child in the car today and said, I'm really sorry she has paint all over her face.
Splattered with white milk paint.
I'm sorry.
It was a great sensory experience. Okay, so the first one that we're going to share is a book that has a similar theme. And this is the one of our favorite farm books. It's called
The Cow Who Clucked.
by Denise Fleming.
Yes.
And in this story,
I can tell about this.
Go, go.
I read the story to the mystic. Okay. This cow has lost her moo. She clucks everywhere. She's so sad. She's looking for it. She goes and asks all the animals, have you got my moo? Maybe ribbit or hiss or whatever animal she comes across, and she can't find it. She's
Can't find her moo.
sad. And eventually she goes back to the barn because she's sad. She can't find her moo.
I hate it when you lose your moo.
I know. And then she speaks to the chicken at the end, and
The chicken says,
the chicken says moo.
moo?
And she says, you have my moo.
Cluck, cluck, cluck.
And she's then really happy she found her moo. And the chicken stops mooing and
They trade.
they trade.
Because that makes perfect sense. And so,
We like this one. And
It's very
really,
cute.
It's really short too. Even your youngsters will, like the little ones will really like this because it's very repetitive and they'll really enjoy it.
and younger kids too, even nonverbal kids a lot of times can make the farm animal sounds.
Yeah.
So they can read along or make the sounds with you. And this book is very similar in theme to this one, which is called Ribbit. In this story,
Notice that is not a frog.
it's not, but his pig lives with a group of frogs, and guess what he learns to say? Ribbit. And so it's a similar story where the animal is saying the wrong sound. And so we'll read this one day and just enjoy the book, make the animal sounds. And then the next day we might read Ribbit by Rodrigo. Oh goodness. Fulguera. Hey Rodrigo, we like your
Sorry
book.
if we ruined your name.
Sorry. And this is from the Scholastic Book Fair at my kids' school. And so then we can say, does this remind you of anything?
And we hope.
We hope, because we'll have this sitting on the easel right close by. Does it remind you of anything?
Does this
Wait,
remind you of anything?
does it remind you of anything?
Ooh.
You might have to hold their hands at first. And so they might say, yeah, oh, the pig was saying the frog sound. And in that book we read yesterday, the cow was saying the chicken sound. And you say, yes, that's it. Ta-da! And then the next day or the next week, the next set of books, we might read one of our very favorite farm books.
I'm sure everyone has read this
Love
one.
this one.
This is Jamie's favorite, and I really enjoy it too. This duck. I would say to Jamie, why are the ducks always so naughty? They're always the ones on the farms.
The duck is the troublemaker.
Such troublemakers. It's always the duck. And Jamie's like, 'cause they don't have a job.
All the other animals have
Don't
something to
have
do.
a
The
job.
duck, yeah, the duck.
So they get into trouble. And this duck goes
Called
to
Duck on a Bike by
ride-
David Shannon.
He goes to ride a bike, and then he convinces everybody else to ride a bike too.
Well, there's like a group of kids who come to the farm and leave all
They
their
leave
bikes.
their bikes. And then they all ride their bikes around the
It's
farm.
really super cute. So
See if I can-
Duck rides his bike past each of the farm animals, and they're
Yeah.
like, Duck is such a show off. You're gonna hurt yourself, or
Yeah.
slow down. And then
And then the kids come. They come.
oh, I got that backwards. They come at the end.
They come. So the ducks ride in one bike around the farm, and then oh, you're showing off. Why are you acting like that? And then the kids come, leave their bikes behind, and then the other
My
animals
favorite
like,
picture.
ooh, maybe we should do that too. And then they do, and they're all riding
Like
around.
the pigs are on a tandem bike, and the chicken's on a tricycle, and the duck has a mouse on his handlebars. The goat's eating the basket.
It's so funny.
So funny. Kids love this book.
And the duck always looks so proud of himself for causing so much trouble.
But then look at the last page. David Shannon, you're a genius. So there's the duck, and he's looking at the tractor like this. So we just enjoy this book one day, and the next day we might read Duck on a Tractor by David Shannon.
Oh, it has a very similar theme.
Very similar. Hopefully it will remind you of something.
This one is longer, and it's got a lot more detail in it. I think it's probably for your older group would be best.
In this one, of course, Duck steals the tractor, and all of the animals hitch a ride, and they cause all kinds of trouble. It's very similar. The duck, so they're driving through town on the
tractor.
This is hysterical. On the tractor. And then at the end, the farmer and the sheriff and everybody find him. They're all like, was that Duck on a tractor? And so after you read this book, you might say to your kids, today we read Duck on a tractor. Does this book remind you of anything?
Look at the pictures on the front. Do they look similar?
And hopefully some smarty pants in your class will say,
oh, we read that book yesterday.
In this book, Duck is on a tractor, but
this one's on he's on a bike.
That reminds me of when Duck rode the bike.
And he gets all the other animals in trouble.
Ooh, making connections. Oh, goodness. And then the last set of books I have are all about eggs. And
there's a lot of chicken and egg books. We have 2 folders full, finding things.
I really like chicken and eggs. And so in this one, these stories are all about animals that have eggs that they think are something, or chickens, and then they turn out to be something different. So can you see the pig's egg? It's really a turnip. So as you can imagine, nothing hatches. And in this one, the cow thinks she lays an egg.
I really like this.
And it's really funny, Marjorie. And so she's sitting on it, right? Because she thinks
Which is so funny anyway, for a cow sitting on an egg.
Cow sitting on an egg. And then of course at the end the other animals are like, I don't really know if that's your egg. And Marjorie's like, look! Not Marjorie, the others are like, look, it's not a cow, it's a chick. But look what the chick does at the end. Moo!
And that also hopefully would remind them of this one.
Oh my goodness. This is another great one. It's called Egg. It's very simple for your youngest kids. And in this one, the birds are all taking care of the eggs. They're waiting. Listening. It's a picture book more than a reading book. Peck. And then peck. And at the end, surprise! So the birds are really surprised that it's not a bird that comes out of the egg, it's an alligator. And that is very similar to this Leo Leone book called An Extraordinary Egg, where these frogs discover an egg that they're sure is a chicken egg. And when the thing hatches out of this chicken egg, so there they are, they're like, look, we found a chicken egg. And then when the egg hatches, they said, look, it's a chicken. And they call it a chicken the whole time, which the kids are gonna think is hysterical.
Cookbooks are really good.
They're really cute, these Leo Leone. And then there's the mama chicken.
His books.
His books, yeah.
It's been a long thing.
It's okay. And so reading a whole series about mistaken egg identity. Well, what else would you call it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Poor pig. I'm so sad for him.
If you're doing it 4 days in a row, then hopefully the students will say, wait, the extraordinary egg, that reminds me of the pig's egg. Or the cow who laid an egg reminds me of when the birds laid an egg and it was really an alligator. And the frogs had an alligator. And those books are all similar.
I thought it was a chicken.
I thought it was a chicken. And so to pick books with similar themes is a really good way to introduce the idea of making connections and really, she just were delirious. It's only Wednesday. Shelley's like, you guys are delirious.
We just love books.
We do really love books too. It's a really good way of teaching students how to start making those connections and understanding what they're reading so that they're not just sitting there dum-de-dum-de-dum, waiting for the book to be over, that they're thinking and really engaging their brains in those important comprehension activities. So, I'm sorry if you were delirious. We didn't mean to be.
They need those skills when they go to elementary school. It's really a big focus for them when they go to elementary school.
I'll leave the names and titles and authors of the books in the video description after we log off. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and we'll try to hop back on this afternoon and answer. And we'll be back on tomorrow with another comprehension idea. We were going to try to put it all in one, but we thought it would be too much for one video.
Especially as we get a little distracted. So I don't know how that happens.
I don't either. Have a great day playing and learning with your kids.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye,
Next
everybody.
time.